Hi everyone. I'm still like back and forth on losing my voice and getting it back after being sick. So hopefully I can project it enough where you guys can hear me and understand me well enough. We're going to look at the twin flame soulmate reading, the divine masculine, divine feminine energies for the week of April 9th, which was Monday yesterday, and the 15th up to Sunday. So Wednesday, tomorrow, if you're in the States tomorrow, there will be a sun square with Pluto. So it's like this energy where you really want to get stuff done, but at the same time, you kind of want to like dig deep and think about all the things that you, it's could be like a time where you're like kicking yourself because you have all these things that you still need to like dig deep and heal. So watch out for that and kind of just keep your vibrations high and move through the energy of the week. New moon in Aries on the 15th, which is the same day that Mercury goes direct. It's been a pretty rough retrograde for a lot of people. I know that I've kind of gone up and down in energy. I was forced to rest by getting sick, of course, and then had some computer problems. So if you are waiting for a personal reading and it is late, I will be getting them out. I'm still working as hard as I can with the voice that I have left to get readings out. So thank you for being patient. If you have not received an email from me yet about a new date, just know that your reading is probably still going to be a little bit late by a couple of days. I will be on the road tomorrow. I'm driving home, so I will be on the road tomorrow. So there won't be any personal readings that come out tomorrow. But I'm going to try my best to get some out today, and then I'm just going to try and knock them out for the rest of the week and weekend. The new moon in Aries is all about manifestations and taking risks and doing big things. So this is really going to be a good time to push ideas forward and really start like mastering yourself and manifesting things that you really want for yourself in your life. And I know that it's been a really hard journey for a lot of people on the twin flame journey, whether you're in union, in partial contact, almost in union, stuff, and things keep coming up to heal. And right now is a really good time for all of that to happen. So just make sure that you are taking very good care of yourself during this time because you want to stay strong during this journey. And if you feel like you're like on the verge of not wanting to do the chasing or the running anymore, I know a lot of people that have been on this journey for a while and they're just kind of like done with it. Know that that's normal. It's a very normal feeling to have. And I've been asked if you can disconnect from your twin's energy. And we're always connected to our twin no matter what. It is the other half of us. It's the other half of our soul. So even before you even knew your twin was there, you were already connected. You can step back. And I often say the best thing sometimes is to step back and focus on yourself and focus on your journey, because mastering yourself is really what this is all about. Yes, we are promised to be in union with our twins eventually. And we have to remember that letting go or letting up a little bit. A lot of people say, don't do that. Don't do that. It makes things worse. And sometimes it can be very hard and it can, really bring you down, even more. But to live your best and most authentic life and to push forward in your own life, you can't sit in the feelings of not feeling worthy enough or not feeling good enough or not feeling like, well, this person doesn't make me, this person doesn't want me. They're supposed to be like the other half of me, but they don't want me. So, what's the point of all of this? And I want to tell you that really a lot of it is about waking your soul up and finding out the point for yourself, finding out that purpose for yourself and really mastering who you are. Because the ultimate goal of a twin flame experience is bringing love back into humanity, that unconditional, very beginning love before traumas and war and hate and everything came into this world. We were brought here and we volunteered for this. You have to remember that in your soul contract that you have with your twin, and you have a soul contract for yourself too, an individual one. You volunteered to come here. and split into two different humans and go through this journey. So if you have to pull back, if you have to pull your energy back so you can focus on yourself and master yourself, that's okay. But just remember that through that, even if you have other karmic relationships and karmic partners, through that you are still and always will be connected to your twin. You were before you even knew you were a twin flame, before you woke up and realized that you were a twin flame, and you will be even if you have to pull back a little bit and master yourself. That's not the first advice that I would give anybody, but if you have a lot of work to do on your own and it just hurts more and more and more, and the vibration that you put out there is not good and it brings you down, I would suggest working on yourself and starting to look at healing, what it is that's triggering you about this journey, to make you feel a little bit stronger. So let's look at where the Divine Feminine is this week. We'll get an oracle card and see where the Divine Feminine energies are for April 9th through the 15th. Manifest. Interesting. And I actually do. It's funny. So I've been asked, what are Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine energies? Because even if you're a man, you can be on this journey as the Divine Feminine energies. The Divine Feminine energies are the emotional side, the nurturing side. We are typically more on the 5D level. We're the ones that are the quote unquote chasers, which I don't like to use chaser and runner because I think that to me it sounds kind of cheesy in a way. But I do feel like the Divine Feminines right now, and I feel like with the manifesting, I feel like they're manifesting things in their own life this week. And they're really focusing on their journey and what they need to do for themselves. And if you are a male that resonates with the Divine Feminine side more, the Divine Masculine is more the logical, the rational, the 3D version, the very methodical, this is how it's going to go and this is how it's going to be. And they really focus on the material side of life. Not in I'm not saying like they're materialistic in any way. Some can be, but really just kind of focused on living their 3D form instead of living, within spiritual realms more often. I do feel like even the males that are resonating with the Divine Feminine side and really going through this journey that is very emotional, and really they are looking to manifest things into 3D reality. And I think that this even talks about really working on themselves as well and manifesting that life for themselves as well. If you are not in contact with your twin, or you have very little contact with your twin, and you are working on manifesting things in your own world, and you do feel that push mid-week where you're just kind of, like what I was going to say, I shouldn't have turned it over yet. The Hanged Man, where you're in that very Plutonian dark space, and you're I'm not really sure if I want to continue on this journey because I really want to focus on what I'm doing. I want to tell you, part of me really wants to say, don't give up. Don't give up completely, and I have to tell people sometimes, don't give up, but work on yourself. And that's really, it's a very hard balancing act to work with or to recognize sometimes. Where do we need to pull back and really focus on ourselves? I've had to say to a lot of clients, don't let somebody else determine your self-worth. Queen of Swords. So this is a woman who manifests. This is the epitome of the Divine Feminine this week. Really standing her ground, being very independent, taking no shit. Kind of, but if you do feel like giving up midweek, I want you to remember that there are a lot of manifestation qualities going on in the sky right now, in the universe. And I do feel like the universe and the cosmos will be helping push you forward through that. And really, stand firm. Be the Queen of Swords. And I don't mean like be mean about it, but definitely know your place and know what your self-worth is. And don't let, even if they are your twin flame, soulmate, divine partner, whatever you want to call them, don't let that person define what your self-worth is. Because part of this journey is learning who we truly are and what we need to get out of this and the world. I feel like the divine feminine, we have been going through cycle after cycle after cycle. This has been definitely the beginning of a year. And it could be that some of you are going through a cycle that seems very similar to what you went through maybe at the same time last year or even just a couple of months ago, where it's like, sorry, the energy when it builds up inside of me when I'm channeling, just comes out burps. It's kind of that cycle where it's like, do I want to try and start this up again? Or do I want, I feel like that's what the Hanged Man. I want to say, look at things in a different perspective. Not that you have to contact your twin, not that you have to push things to another level, but maybe push yourself to another level. Because we get into that confused state often. And we wonder, how long is it going to take? How long is this going to take? How long is this going to take? So really stand firm in knowing that you are strong. I mean, the reason why you volunteered to do this is because your soul was strong enough to handle it. And it doesn't feel strong sometimes. Believe me, it doesn't feel strong sometimes. But it is definitely one of the best journeys that you could go on, right? So we have the 9 of Cups and Judgment. Know that the universe, this is a really big week for divine feminines and manifesting new beginnings and knowing, like, look at all the signs and synchronicities that are happening. And know that the universe is bringing you your wishes. This is the wish card. The 9 of Cups is, you're being guided through this. And it's sometimes it doesn't feel like that. Sometimes you're just kind of like you feel like you're being kind of like swept up by a wind and not really sure, I don't know how many times I've heard, am I crazy because I think this? I feel like I'm going crazy sometimes. And you could very well feel like you're going crazy through this journey, but you're not. And you're not just being swept up by a wind. There is a purpose for all of this. And finding out what your purpose is, truly mastering who you are and manifesting the vibration, keeping it high, manifesting what you truly want to do in life, what you truly want to do with your life. That's one of the biggest parts of this. And I always say to make sure that you're sending that love vibe out, that high vibration vibe out. Once you start to grow yourself, send that vibration out to your twin. I do feel like the divine feminine is really making things happen for herself this week. And I feel like she is going to be following where I just breathed this huge sigh of relief. I feel like everybody just had this collective sigh, like, oh, thank God. Making things happen, finally, right? I do feel like the universe is giving her signs and synchronicities. And I want to make sure that if you do see things, synchronicities, or like you're thinking something and then you see a billboard and it says the same thing, or you see numbers all the time, make sure you're following those numbers. And like whatever happens during those numbers when you see them, what were you thinking? What were you doing at the time? Because that's really the universe saying you are on the right path. You are doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing in this moment. There were a couple of weeks where synchronicities stopped showing up for me. And I recognized how low my vibration was during those couple of weeks. And I was like, and it was, of course, while I was sick, my vibration's always low when I'm sick, but, Ace of Pentacles. So that this is like, I don't even want to clarify. I'm going to clarify stuff, but I don't want to. Because this is a really like big manifestation week for the divine feminine. Like making things come true, making wishes come true. And it could be bringing the union together into 3D form, or it could just be bringing things into, like working very hard in the divine feminine's life to make things happen for themselves. Because I feel the stability that we haven't had in a while. I'm feeling that like stable ground. So what's the Hangman? What is it? Is this that Sun squares Pluto midweek? That's kind of what I'm feeling with the Hanged Man is. Like, do I sit in my darkness? Yeah, needing to make things clear. Page of Swords. Do I start that conversation with my masculine? Or do I hold back? And I do kind of have a feeling for the majority of you, you will not move forward and do this. Because I feel like this is such a tentative move with the Page of Swords. It's like, I'm not really sure if I want to do that quite yet. And kind of like standing your ground with the Queen of Swords. It's like, I don't want to be a page. I want to be a queen. I want to be sure of myself before I move forward and make any kind of contact. I don't feel like you're going to think that, and if you are in contact with your twin or semi-contact with your twin, if there is a conversation that you need to have and you're kind of unsure about it, I feel like you're almost going to manifest that conversation so that you feel more like a queen than a page. So, yeah, that card wanted to come out. It's like, oh, yeah, that's it. The King of Pentacles. Yeah, it's almost like, I feel like the divine feminine is almost saying, no, I need somebody to be very stable for me before I make that move. I need somebody to, I need them to be a little bit more stable before I start that conversation or before I push forward in anything. So, and the King of Pentacles, and I feel like the divine feminine is kind of saying, this is what I want out of the divine masculine. I want to have the King of Pentacles. I don't want it to be something that I have to continuously question. And I feel like that's where the manifestation is happening, is you're almost like putting that out into the universe. Like, this is what I want. This is what I deserve. And this is what this is the vibration I'm going to put out there. So what is the cycle that's ending? What is this new beginning? Because I feel like literally, I feel like the divine feminine are making their wishes come true this week in many different forms. It doesn't have to be in the relationship. It could be just in their individual lives. I feel like they're making things happen for themselves. So what is it that has to end for that new beginning to happen? Do you need to pull away for a little bit? Do you need to stop the cycle of the chasing and running? Yeah. Do you need to fill your cup up a little? And this is kind of what I'm talking about. Oftentimes when I see the World card like this, and then the Ace of Cups, this is either a new relationship with your twin or with somebody else, or you are filling your own cup up. And I feel like more than anything, that's what the feminine is doing this week, is making sure that her emotional, or he or she, whatever, I'm just going to say her for the sake of arguments, that they will fill themselves up emotionally, that this is where it's going to lead. And it's like, I want the cycle to end of me not having my cup full. Right? Lots of major arcana. So the High Priestess and the Hermit. This is kind of like just to get through the rest of these last three cards. When we are following the universe, the High Priestess can be about secrets, but it's also a lot of like not opening up and not pushing things forward. And I do feel like it's all about using your intuition as well. So if you are seeing signs and synchronicities, judgment is really telling me that the divine feminine, they have a lot of signs and synchronicities this week. If you are seeing a lot of that, really analyze those things. Really analyze. And I mean, this is kind of like, I feel like the universe is leading you to something extremely stable and very grounded and very much in a way of like, I did this on my own. And I like that, but be really patient with yourself because you might feel a little bit lonely. And there's the Tower. Everybody freaks out with the Tower. Don't freak out with the Tower energy because this is that needing to break something down to build it back up to the Nine of Pentacles. So be patient. I feel like this is saying be patient with this Tower energy this week. If you feel extremely uncomfortable or just a little bit uncomfortable, like it doesn't even have to be a big Tower moment. But if you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable this week, it could possibly be because you need to break something down about yourself so that you can build your life and be stable in building your life. And so, like, make sure you're really patient with yourself, even through conflict. I saw the Five of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So let's see where the Divine Masculine is. I feel like that was a really long reading. Sorry, guys. I feel like these videos get longer and longer. Maybe I should break them up. So let's see where the Divine Masculine is this week, April 9th through the 15th. What kind of energies they have. I kind of feel like they might be taking a step back in different areas. New vitality, which is actually the Ace of Cups in the traditional tarot. If they're, and this is kind of what I'm thinking, is they're kind of taking a step back too, because they need to fill up their cup as well with new vitality. They really need to find out what it, I mean, like, it's almost like they need to get in touch with their divine feminine side, their emotions, and leave the rationality out of it. I often say that once the mastering yourself is actually bringing the divine feminine and the divine masculine into balance within you. That's what the, bringing that rational, logical, methodical, 3D, divine masculine with the nurturing and the emotional and the open part of the divine feminine. So coming into Six of Swords, a mental balance and clarity. And moving from rough waters into calmer waters. And Eight of Cups. Knight of Swords. Moving away from discourse, moving away from, it's like they don't want to fight anymore. I feel like there's some emotional baggage the divine masculine will be dealing with this week and walking away from, whether it's in their former lives or if it's with the divine feminine or if it's in like a karmic relationship. The Knight of Swords to me is like literally I feel like this person is running away from some kind of fight. Not running, it looks like this guy's like running into battle. But I feel like with the Eight of Cups and the Six of Swords, that energy is really moving away from whatever Knight of Swords, no more arguments. I don't want to argue about anything. I don't, I just don't want to deal with the BS anymore. And coming into that really like mental clarity of what they do need to walk away from, what Like, what parts of their lives have they kept themselves, like, stuck in with the emotional baggage? Death. Some of them might be going through an awakening this week. Big spiritual transformation. And we do still have Jupiter in retrograde until July. So, your masculine might be going through transformation this week. And even if it's not a big spiritual awakening, there is definitely something inside of them that is changing for the better. You know, something has to die to be reborn. They could be dealing with a lot of baggage from their old life or their current life. It's interesting because this reading, like, I'm noticing all the cards here are kind of dark. I feel like they're really going to be pulled back and trying to find that new vitality. And it could be by the end of the week that they'll finally find that new vitality. But if you're in contact with your masculine and they do kind of pull back from you, don't take it the wrong way. 5 of Swords. If they're having to deal with deception or in their life, this might be some of the emotional baggage that they're going through. 7 of Cups. There's definitely a feeling of emotional confusion. It's like, all I want is to have this newness in my life. Just want to fill my cup up. And I feel like I know how to do it. Or if I don't know how to do it, I feel like I need to find out how to do it. I do feel like that they'll be pulling back a little bit. The 9 of Pentacles to me on the 6 of Swords is like, I just kind of want to do this alone right now. I just kind of want to be alone in this right now. So don't be surprised, especially if you are in contact with your divine feminine or divine masculine and talking to the divine feminine. If your divine masculine pulls back because you are the one that's manifesting things in your life, you don't, I mean, I feel like it's almost like they don't want you to get mad in a way. I don't know. It's a very interesting, like, they're pulling back because they don't want to have any discord in their life. If you're not in contact with your divine masculine and you feel like you aren't as close energetically, it could be because they are going through transformation and their higher selves have pulled back from opening up. I don't know what this Knight of Swords is. Like, what is the conflict? What is the discord? Teamwork. 3 of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. It's almost like they don't want to have that conversation of starting over. You know, if the divine feminine is really like wanting to manifest the stability in their life and really like gain that strength and that foundation, it's almost like the divine masculine's like, I'm not ready to like build that life. I'm not, you know, because the Page of Wands to me is like an active listening card. So they're like listening to you say 3 of Pentacles, like, listening to the divine feminine, I want to build this life. And they're almost not ready. Knight of Swords. And that could be that Plutonian energy. Or it could be that in their life with their karmic's like, you know, we need to rebuild our relationship, and they're like not listening to it. Or they're listening to it, but not really considering it. They'd rather run away. I do, like, this Knight of Swords really makes me feel like they just want to run away. So there might be divine masculines that are leaving karmics this week, or thinking about leaving karmics this week. Swords are all about thoughts. The 5 of Swords is, you know, they could feel like they're deceiving somebody if they leave. So what is the change? The transformation? 10 of Pentacles. So wherever they call home or wherever they feel stable, there is going to be a change this week in that. And it's really interesting because with the feminines having that tower, that unstable ground, it could be that this is that change that's happening within the divine masculine as well. They could be going through similar circumstances with homes or what they feel is stable. And, you know, work or, you know, whatever's going on in their 3D life, what they feel is stable. I do feel like there's a change, and it's almost, you know, with the Six of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles, they want to really come into a mental balance with that. Often we can't have a balance in our 3D world until we're mentally balanced or we're emotionally balanced. And that may be where this Three of Pentacles, this wanting to rebuild things or wanting to run away from that rebuilding, that could be the change. Whatever is that big transition in their home, in their family life, or whatever they call stability with their feminine, if there's something that needs to be, I don't know, moved around, transitioned a little bit, it does feel like that's happening this week. Whether it's with their feminine or their karmic or just in their life. Five of Swords. There is this feeling of I'm going to hurt. I feel like I'm going to hurt somebody no matter what decision I make. But they almost know that whatever decision they do make and whatever they have to do, because there's a lot of confusion around it with the Seven of Cups. It's like, what am I walking away from and what am I walking into? But they know that whatever decision they do have to make, and they are dealing with it, whether it looks like they're dealing with it or not, I really feel like they're actually dealing with some kind of emotional change that will bring them new life, new vitality. It will fill up their cup a little bit more. So Five of Swords. I want to know what this feeling of deception is, whether they feel deceived or whether they feel they're deceiving somebody else. See how that card flew out? They want to cut the bullshit out. The Ace of Swords. I feel like there's some divine masculines out there that are just ready to cut some bullshit out of their life. And I'm not saying that they want to cut the divine feminine out. That's not what I said. I said that there are things in the divine masculine's life that they feel like they need to cut out to be happier, to be a little bit more open, to walk away from that emotional baggage. So I feel like there will be a clarity with all of this confusion, with the Seven of Cups confusion. What needs to be clarified to them? What is it? I don't think they even know. I don't think they even know. Four of Swords. A lot of thinking this week. A lot of rationality this week with the Divine Masculine and the Seven of Swords. So a need to cut ties with the way they think things are supposed to look or how to do stuff with the Four of Swords. And then once they figure out what that is that they need to walk away from with the Seven of Swords, they need to just do it and not turn back. And it feels like, I do feel like they think that they might be hurting somebody or deceiving somebody in some way. But I think that there will be a point this week where they kind of recognize the things that they do need to walk away from and stop turning around and looking back at. Whether it's a karmic relationship or a tie to something in their life that is holding them back in some way. So I hope you guys have a really good week. That's all I'm getting right now. So I hope you guys have a really good week. The Ace of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck. And check out the sale on the Twin Flame Soulmate relationship readings on my website, fearlessintuition.net. And you can also get a personal reading on the InstantGo app. All of those links are below. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And thank you so much for all your patience with the general readings. I'm going to try and get out the second half of April general readings as fast as I can, but I do have a lot of personal readings. Oh, and those who have sent in donations, thank you so much. That does really help me be able to schedule more time to do the general readings when the donations, when I do get donations, because I don't charge for any of the readings on YouTube. So the donations are helpful. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys for next week's readings. Bye.